Otto was an Austrian scientist, and in 1921 he had a dream. He dreamed about an experiment, simple but brilliant, that would answer a fundamental question in neuroscience about whether chemicals were involved in the transmission of certain kinds of nerve impulses. Being a good scientist, he wrote down the experiment and he went back to sleep. The next morning when he got up, he couldn't remember exactly what he had dreamed, but he knew he'd written it down, so he went to take a look at his notes. And that's when the dream turned into a nightmare. Otto Lowy couldn't read a word of what he had written the night before. He said that that day was the most desperate day of his scientific career, as he spent many hours trying to remember what it was he had dreamed, racked his brain trying to think of the experiment. Nothing could bring it back. That night, Otto Lowy had the same dream again. This time, when he awoke, he didn't write it down. He got dressed, went to his lab, and performed an experiment in the middle of the night. By the time his fellow lab workers got there in the morning, he was done, and when he told them about the experiment he'd performed, someone said to him, "My God, that'll win you the Nobel Prize." Those words proved to be prophetic. Lowy's experiment, born in the netherworld between wakefulness and sleep, proved that chemicals are involved in the transmission of certain kinds of neuroimpulses. It led to a decade of experiments that opened the door to a new branch of neuroscience and eventually led the way to mood-altering drugs. And in 1936, Otto Lowy did win the Nobel Prize. For him, it was a dream come true. I'm Rick Beyer, and that's one of the greatest science stories never told.